Hey guys, welcome back to the Boss Podcast, where we like to hear bridal owner success stories. And today in the studio is Cristen Rosinski. We are so glad to have you here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so glad you're here. And I just want us to kind of give you some props because you are no beginner to bridal. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about your store, where it's located, how long you've been in business, and then we'll get into your story.
Okay. So, my name is Kristen. I own Aliber's Bridal. We are in Greenfield, Massachusetts, which is lovingly referred to as Western Mass. We're about 2 hours from Boston in the Berkshires. And I've owned my store for 16 years. However, my store is, as far as I know, the longest running in the country, and we are 106 this year.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah,
I don't think I knew that. I knew that you had purchased it from someone, but
I
I
did.
did not know how many families has it been through?
So I'm the fifth owner of the business. The Aliber family owned the store for 50 years, and it's been four owners since then. One owner actually only owned the store for about 5 years. So longevity-wise, each owner has been quite a while in the business. But yeah, the Aliber family started it in the same town 106 years ago. It was 50 years as a two-floor department store downstairs, bridal shop upstairs, family owned business for a long time. So yeah, and then
I was
downsized.
going to say, have you ever met any of the family members?
I have, yes. I met, I believe, a grandson who came in to introduce himself one time. He is actually bi-coastal, so he lives part-time in LA and part-time in New York City.
And was he just so excited to meet the new owner of Albers? Was
Yeah, he was very impressed that the store was still going and happy that that their legacy continued, especially with the name. So nobody's ever changed the name of the store, so it's great.
That's crazy. That is so impressive. And I'm sure, we dream of having, oh, we're going to have the daughters of our brides, right? Well, you are one of the unique circumstances where you could be having the great granddaughters of brides. Have you ever had somebody walk in and be like, my grandmother got her dress here?
Yes. Oh, yeah. All the time. I have grandmas come in with brides to and share stories of when they purchased their dresses. We also have all of our former brides sign our walls, so current and former. And so I have plenty of when we have legacy brides come in whose mom or grandma or aunt purchased, I immediately will have their grandmother or their mom sign the wall for us because I want that legacy.
Oh my goodness. Are you in the same general area or different building, same building?
Third location, same city. Yeah,
Okay,
so
got it. Got it.
we haven't moved very far.
Okay, I'm sure. I mean, within the same neighborhood. So that's
Yeah.
really neat. Okay, so 16 years ago, what was going on in Kristen Rosinski's life? Like, what was she doing for a job? And what was she doing for her career? And what got into her crazy brain to decide to buy a bridal store?
Oh yeah, crazy is right. That's a good word for it. So I had worked at that point for 10 years for my father's business. So definitely the entrepreneurial spirit for sure. My father is a blacksmith, fully retired at this point, but artist blacksmiths across the United States, and he was one of the big legacy blacksmiths that a whole lot of people actually come to for advice. So I worked for him for 10 or 11 years as his office manager. Definitely learned, it was kind of boots on the ground training for business. And 2008 rolled around and we ended up in a recession at that point, and I needed to find a new job. So, truthfully, I, kind of dropped back and went, okay, what have you always wanted to do with your life? I have a history as a hairstylist, so I have a cosmetology license, and always had been involved in the arts, always had been involved in, yeah, just really, wanted to be involved in some sort of some sort of
Creative.
creative, yeah, outlet with regard to bridal. I really, honestly, a long, long time ago, I had thought that maybe I wanted to be a wedding planner, and this area is not conducive to that at all. We are not an affluent area at all. And so it just kind of fell by the wayside for a long time. And then when I was looking for a new job, I approached the previous owner and asked her for a job. And she said, well, not really. I'm not really looking for anybody, but I really want to sell the business. Is that a possibility for you? Do you want to buy it? And 2 months later, guess who owned a business? It
Wait a
was
minute. So
a
I have a
whirlwind.
question here. I have a question. You are unemployed, thinking I'd like to do a bridal shop. You never worked in it, and then
No.
you decided to just purchase.
Yeah, we all have those crazy moments. And I thought, just like any one of
Okay,
us,
but like,
it's
how
looking
did you
fun.
have money to do that? How did you have money? Did you just go to a bank and get a loan? Like, what was
No.
that about?
So, so I like most people, because I wasn't planning on it. I did not have any savings. My debt to income ratio was horrendous. So the previous owner actually privately financed it for me. So I paid her off over 10 years. Yeah. And so, it just, we did it through lawyers, and it was her retirement package, and it just worked out.
And she was happy. She got paid out for her business. You were happy. You got to buy something that you maybe never could have without a private investor.
Absolutely.
Wow, Kristen, I did not know that. That is wild. And then your mom came along to help?
Oh my goodness. My mom would love to tell you that I just kind of roped her in. My mother is my head seamstress here. She will probably be fully retired as of next year, but yeah, she just kind of came alongside and said, "Well, I could help you steam dresses. Well, I can sew a straight line." She actually made my wedding dress back in the '90s, so I knew that she was talented. She could, she learned from my grandmother. I learned from her. So it really just was it kind of her, stepping slowly into the process and saying, well, I could do that. Okay, I can learn that. That's not a problem. And the previous owner actually stayed on for a good 5 years here. And she was very good at bridal alterations and actually showed my mother the ropes. And my mom just learned as she went, and she's so good at it.
That's amazing. Okay, I want to ask because I think some people might listen to this and find it interesting that either a owner might be interested in selling or a girl might be interested in buying. Do you have any tips looking back at that whole transaction? Like, did you think that was like a good move to for an owner to sell to an interested party and privately fund it? Do you feel like that could get tricky? Because what if she doesn't do good in the business and can't make her payments? Is that risky for the seller? Or was there a way to do that? Like just speak into that a little bit as you've been kind of on both sides of the table.
Yeah. Absolutely. So definitely risky on her part. There were definitely a few years where, we had to drop back and not make the big payments that we had started out with, because of the recession, because of, lack of business. So she definitely, hung in there with me. I think that for sure that if there is an owner that is considering selling, if privately financing is definitely a risk that you can take, especially if you don't know whether that person is qualified to actually take over a business. I never questioned whether or not I had the capability of really connecting with brides and really doing this business. I had a lot of ideas and I made a lot of changes when I took over. Um, but yeah, I think for sure it's a very risky factor with regard to anyone doing that privately financing. I think that it helped that we knew each other previously, and she also stayed on to help guide me and train me. So I think that might have been the smartest move. For somebody who is purchasing a business, It gets really
get
tricky.
some overlap, you're saying, of like mentorship in that
Yeah,
transition to make sure that it doesn't. I mean, she
doesn't
was
fall.
personally invested in making sure it was successful,
Yes.
because if it wasn't, she wasn't going to get her payout. So
Yeah, absolutely. And with somebody who is purchasing a business, that gets a little bit tricky too, because I knew nothing about the bridal industry, and so I didn't know really to look at how much she was selling this business for, and and make a logical decision about that either. So I didn't have the background to be able to say, yes, this is worth the money that she's asking.
yeah, just gonna say that the story I hear a lot, Kristen, is like people buying the business and not buying it for the right price because they don't know. They're like, oh, I guess if she says it's worth 200,000, then I should pay 200,000, or whatever it might be, versus having a true knowledge. But it does. What I like about your story, it does sound like both parties had a good interest in the other's success, and there was a foundation of some sort of relational equity prior to the negotiation. So it doesn't sound like she wanted to leave you hanging or you wanted to leave her hanging. Like, you're both good for it. It's tricky when the parties don't have that history, because then somebody could get taken advantage of.
Yes, absolutely. And it's kind of like a partnership in that case, where, 5 years in, I was like, okay, I think that I've got this under control now.
You're like, thanks. I love it. Okay, well, let's jump into, like, in the last 16 years, you've been doing a lot of different, I mean, from the alterations, like you said, working with your mom, working with brides, growing different marketing strategies. I mean, the brides have changed as far as what they have access to versus when we started till now, right? I mean, there's so much more online for them, and etc. I was just gonna say, when you think back, what was like a story or a time that you're like, that was so hard. I can't believe I can laugh about it now, but in the moment, it was so hard. Is there a time you can think of in the last 16 years that you're like,
Oh, absolutely. I was actually just talking about this last night. Somebody brought up 2015, and I went, oh gosh, that year was so hard. So hard. Um, I remember being at a conference, a business conference in Alabama, and getting a phone call that my building was on fire. And it was next door. It was one of the other businesses in our building, and a glass company was here replacing a glass door, and they had used a torch to get the door off the hinges, and it sparked inside the walls, and I mean, it was like a 4 alarm fire. Uh, Nothing actually ever, the fire never reached my building except the back wall. But because of all of the smoke, then of course we had to deal with from afar. My father was here, boots on the ground. He was here saying, okay, so this is what's happening. And we had a lot of smoke damage, and all of our inventory had to be sent to the it wasn't cleaned necessarily. It was put in like a de-smoking chamber with a restoration company. But that was a
I was
long
gonna say,
process.
did you immediately like fly home, or did he just handle it for you?
No, he handled it. We only had a day or two left. He basically was on the phone with me constantly. It was a blessing that I was actually at a business conference with other bridal shop owners who had been through it previously and were able to just say, calm down, it'll be fine. In the long run, you'll recognize that it's worthwhile because insurance will come through for you. You'll be able to, take, an insurance coverage for lapse of business. But it did take quite a long time. And it was very frustrating dealing with the insurance companies, and trying to get the coverage that we were owed for it. But that was a really rough time. And that was the same year that my mother had a
Yeah.
broke her hip replacement. It was just all of these things, all of the things crazy.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. No, we've had to evacuate for forest fires here in Colorado
Oh
before.
yeah.
It's wild. Fire because it can, you can lose everything, but we were we were stuffing all of the bride dresses that like were people's waiting for pickup. We were stuffing it in like vans and cars and like driving them to someone's house far away from the fire. I was just like, oh my gosh, wild times, wild times.
That,
Okay, and then I like to ask owners what has a what?
oh, that's okay. I was just going to say that was a good thing to bring up because the blessing of that whole thing was that I had stopped storing wedding dresses here. I only had 3 wedding dresses that belonged to brides. So that was a really big blessing for me at that point.
That's amazing. Yeah, because that smoke damage and everything, it can really, you have to get a new dress. It's like so bad. But okay, well, one of my other things I like to ask when people aren't new, like when somebody like you, a veteran, a real savvy business owner, 16 years, I'm like, okay, what keeps you in it? Like what is the thing that you love that keeps you in this game? Because a lot of people get tired around year 5 and they're like, I'm good. This is too hard. It's too expensive. Overhead's a lot. But you've pursued and pushed through. So I'm curious to you, like, what do you love about it? What keeps you going? And do you have any like personal habits that you do to stay positive?
Yeah. What first of all, the fact that anytime I think about going back to work for somebody else, I shudder. Um, I just don't.
Yeah.
Love the fact that I have freedom to do what I want to do with my business, and I don't answer to somebody else. Um, I love the stories and I love connecting with people. I'm just such an extroverted person that I really just love having those conversations and really connecting and hearing other people's stories. Um, I it's so stressful. There's so many hills and valleys with regard to business ownership that, I could be having the best month of the year and then everything just kind of comes to a screeching halt the next week. And it's just, yeah, it's so stressful, but at the same time, so rewarding. Uh, um,
Yeah.
yeah, what keeps yeah, but I love the fact that I have so many connections with other bridal shop owners across the country. Networking is just such a blessing for me because I just know that I'm not alone. I am not an island of, in and of myself. I mean, the stories that I could tell, just, sending a message to all of my girlfriends saying, hey, so raise your hand if this has happened to you in business. And every single one of them raises their hand. And I'm like, wow, I really didn't think that anybody would have done that too.
I know. I love that about you, Kristen. You're such a collaborator. One thing that, I mean, we haven't even known each other that long, but something I've always been impressed with you for is you're very relational and you're going after those friendships and you really show up for people. And I think that's why everybody loves you.
Aw,
But yeah, I'm sure that's how you show up with your bride too. But in the bridal industry, I think it's important that you have those relationships because for me, that's what's helped me stay going all those years is those friendships because I'm like, okay, yeah, other people get it. This is fun. This is hard, but we all are in it together. I definitely want people to follow you, to share with us where they can follow you on Instagram and different places if they want to follow your store or you, because you are so fun to watch too online.
thank you. That's what
Yes, you are. You're so fun.
is. So on Facebook, we are Aliber's Bridal Shop. On Instagram and TikTok, we are at Aliber's Bridal. And on my personal Instagram, which is open for anybody to follow, is at Cristen Rosinski. And that is Rosinski.
I love that. I love that so much. What do you have exciting coming up for your store? Like, tell me about the next year ahead.
Oh,
Anything fun?
I have We're going to have a mother's trunk show in June, which is, a special event for moms with mimosas, and they can come and shop dresses that they wouldn't see in our shop otherwise and get a discount off of them. I have got my National Bridal Sale happening in July, which happens every July. Huge discounts off of our dresses. And
Nice.
yeah, then, Chicago Bridal Market in August. So you get to see us, just kind of shopping for dresses. Um, yeah,
I
hopefully, yeah.
love that. And you still have mom in the store. So if people come by, they can still see mom. But like you said, maybe not forever. She might retire. What are you going to do then, Kristen? What are you going to do when your mom
Oh,
retires?
no, I really don't know. I feel like she's just become a staple. And honestly, it's so funny because anytime that I drag her into a reel here, her reels are the ones that blow up. So 'cause everybody loves seeing, yeah, her reels are the ones that get the most views. Um, so yeah, I love having that
Well,
special.
maybe she doesn't have to fully retire, Kristen. Maybe
Yeah,
she could just go to very, very
yeah.
part time.
At that point, I think that I will just call her in to work with moms of the wedding, because she really does connect well with moms. Because she has the same issues that every mom has, the saggy arms and the belly and the. So she
Yeah,
can
I mean,
relate.
moms like moms for sure.
Yes.
Okay, so inside your store, just to recap, you guys do bridal, mothers, prom.
I do prom, bridesmaids, tuxedo rentals, and suit sales, and currently alterations, but that will go away.
Wow. And people also can probably see how cool your backdrop is, but your store has an awesome like vibe to it. It's different than most bridal stores. Do you get compliments on that a lot?
I do. I get people that come in and they're like, "Wow, it's orange." Yes, it is, and it has definitely been our brand. So black and white damask is our accent, but the walls are all orange.
Wow. Yeah, people need to check it out. I think it's like very fitting for your part of the country too. It's edgy, it's fun, and it's just a privilege to watch you grow. It's such a privilege, and I'm excited for the years ahead because you have a long runway still ahead of you, my friend.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, of course. Well, as we close, do you have any closing advice as such a wise and fun person to be around? Do you have any closing advice that you would say, hey, as a bridal shop owner to other owners, something that you wish you would have known all those years ago? It could be about your personal life balance, it could be about business, anything. Any piece of advice that you'd like to leave us with?
Uh, yeah, as a business owner, it's really taken a long time to recognize that what works for other people may not work for you. Make sure that if you're doing any training, that you take bits and pieces that work for you and throw away the rest. I really appreciate the fact that I have learned not to overspend at market. Really make sure that you have a budget and that you stick with it. I was going for a very long time. I was going off of what the previous owner always spent. On average at market instead of looking at my numbers, and numbers matter. So pay attention to, and most of us, because we're creative, hate the numbers, and you got to learn it. You just do.
Yeah. The sooner you get comfortable with them, the better.
Yes, absolutely. And it took a long time. So I feel like, I have struggled feeling like I am uh, 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 slow to learn. And I'm behind. I feel like I'm behind a lot of the time. But, I really do feel like I've learned at my own pace, and I feel like I have a really good grasp on it at this point. So, and a lot of it is thanks to
I
you.
love that. Oh, thanks, Kristen. Well, I'm so honored you're part of the Boss community. You're seriously a star when it comes to top owners that I think of in our industry. So people should follow along your accounts and your journey. And I can't wait to see what's ahead.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Bridal Owner Success Stories. I hope you found some inspiration and encouragement for your own career in the bridal industry. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. We are in this together.